And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Planet Crafter. And apparently the game did not appreciate me going that break. So let's do a quick load of the thing because it was being a bit laggy there. There we go. That forced to save and reload. Anyway, we just put that in, so it didn't lose into progress. Okay. Yeah, my project controls. Oh, now I remember. We are about to hit the 100 megapascal pressure when we get the gas extractor. And we're a little farther off of the tier 4 heater. Those are the next things we're probably going to work on, trying to get set up. So yeah, we're kind of waiting for these to take over. In the meantime, I suspect... Now, why is the game suddenly getting quite so laggy? Is it going to stabilize on its own? Okay, let's try to change some settings. Hopefully that's graphics. Send the graphics quality down another step. Yeah, that helped for whatever reason. Okay. One thing to potentially do in the meantime is continue to work on generating more super alloy, assuming that whatever we're going to be building later on costs super alloy. I forgot to put the golden seed in that thing we just made. Whoops. The new plant spreader has no seed. Well, flower spreader has no seed. Fix that. And I have a Tuska seed in my inventory. Why do I have a Tuska seed in my inventory? Because I have a Tuska seed in my inventory. Well, I was immediately guessing it might have been because I forgot one of those, but that's not the case. Put it in there for the mug. Okay. What else do I have? Got a bunch of aluminum to process. A bunch of cobalt to process. Maybe running a bit low on the other low-quality items. Silicon, titanium, and I'll need probably more iron here as well. So let's go and get those. There's one piece of titanium. 2 pieces of titanium. 3 pieces of titanium. And probably grab 4. Wait for a moment before we grab more. So now we're looking for silicon and iron. Okay, now I'm just looking for silicon. Need 2 more pieces and we'll make 4 super alloy. Here's the gas extractor. I probably only need to make 1 gas extractor. As long as we check in on it often enough to get the gases out that we might want. Oh, 4 super alloy. Grab some water because that guy's getting thirsty. And then up in here, check the building I'm thinking of, which is the gas extractor. There we go. 3 super alloy, so we needed some super alloy, and we needed the zeolite. Okay, so it's a good thing we didn't put the zeolite in the car to make the car go fast. Because I really don't need the car to go fast. Where did I put the zeolite? Here's the zeolite. This also makes a little bit of heat. Yeah, there. Methane cartridge is the main thing it makes. So we'll soon have methane cartridges. Not that we necessarily need them right now. Anyway, we're 11 parts per billion of oxygen away from the tier 4 here. And I've got 1 super alloy. You're okay. Okay, I've mostly cleared the... I might imagine to be junk items out of base, except for cobalt. We've still got quite a bit of cobalt around it, apparently. It's not a bad place to put the iridium rod, I suppose. Oh, we got a bunch of aluminum still. I have to move most of the plant seeds upstairs. Yeah, well, we got more space to get access to our staircase. Would like to move that one so it's not blocking the walkway. So over here would probably be a better spot. That one's kind of blocking the walkway, but... Go. Now, even duplicating and doing another one here wouldn't be too bad. Just scoot it over a bit. Like so. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Okay. And that one isn't blocking that walkway, so we got much more maneuverable base. It's a little tight here, but I really don't walk across that bit, so that's fine. Yeah, might as well try to make a little bit more super alloy while we wait for the auction to come up. The alternative is to make more flower spreaders, which I suppose is make more super alloy. Right? That's where we're at the moment. Okay, let me check the mines. Looking for silicon, magnesium, and titanium. Okay, enough magnesium. A little short on the titanium. And obviously only 1 silicon, so I need to get 1 titanium, 2 silicon, We'll grab a bunch of the extra aluminum here. On the way back. That allows that mine to mine a little bit more. Without us having to pay attention to it. Okay, that's one of the 3 silicon that we want. There's the missing titanium. Just one more silicon on the way back, and we're good to make another batch. And then my problem is going to be shortage of fertilizer. Okay. So I'm gonna fake plants to make 3 fertilizers. Might need to go for more sulfur. Yeah, might need to go for more sulfur. Okay, so yeah, I think we're down to just needing sulfur, and we can make 3 fertilizers. Which, 2 of which would be enough to make another seed spreader to get some more oxygen flow. Interestingly enough, I know there's a good amount of sulfur in the osmium cave, so we'll go hit the osmium cave first. Nice green rolling hills, even though technically at this point it's all moss and not plants. It's not a green lawn, it's a bed of moss. There's some sulfur. And the ice has mostly cleared out of this bit. I'm gonna poke around too much in here. This definitely goes somewhere interesting. We'll come back here. Yeah, I don't necessarily know the recipe for the next tier of 8. Presumably it's going to cost iridium. Because all the heat costs iridium. And probably in rod form, so it's probably going to be like 3 rods per instead of 1 rod per. So I think what we're currently at. Oh, I grabbed 1 too many algae. Oh, I gotta go grab a seed. Tuska seeds, probably the best I've got to put in. We'll reduce our inventory a little bit. And we'll go check out that biome. We're waiting for our oxygen level to go up. I think it's almost there. Yeah, less than 5 to go. Yeah, let's go check out that biome. Okay, so we got this new area that we haven't been in yet. I'm going to ignore the blue chest, because it's just going to be random what coming in the chest. I'm going to see if there's any specialty alloy, or specialty stuff on the rocks on the ground here. Oh, a little bit of ice. Interesting. Depending on what you might want ice later in the game. I hadn't been saving any of it, but hopefully I don't need ice later. Some aluminum, I don't need the aluminum, but I'll pick it up. Okay, so this is the way up to the top of the sand falls. I didn't really need that right now. Anything else interesting in here? Blue chest. This might just be a transit cave to go back and forth between a couple different places. Yeah, I think that's what that is. It's something about the game. I think actually, I don't think it's a game that's lagging here. I think it's something about the smoke down there, the dust, is really not appreciated by the encoder. Because the game is lagging when I'm looking at that range, but if I look away, it'll suddenly smooth as silk. Yeah, something about that is not appreciative of my recording setup. Recording setup does not appreciate it. Yeah, it's probably the coder keeping up high speed to low on auction. I gotta go back. Gotta go back, get auction. Kind of appreciating the particle effects. It's keeping up, but it's struggling. That's what's going on. I'm flying to the closest known oxygen storage. Source of oxygen, which is down there. And yeah, I think it's that the dust effect, for whatever reason, is not particularly appreciated. At least at long range. Cutting it a little close. Just a little. Okay, let's go explore. Well, so let's explore the cave. We've been in the cave before. Let's go pull the last, there's a chest in this cave back here. Let's pull that chest. I can find the entrance again. I think I went past it. Yeah, there's a super alley. Take that super alley. Ooh, there's a super alley. So this last time here, I took super alley until we were full. So I didn't necessarily take all the super alley. Was it the hole? It's not the cave. There's the cave. Sulfur if we need more sulfur. What we came for was the blue chest at the end of the cave. Also the hunk of osmium. 2 hunks of osmium. Oxygen multiplier, Tesca seed, super alloy, fertilizer. Okay, so we get some more oxygen out of that. Okay, we're gonna have to leave the chest here. Oh no, I can turn some more. So we can disable the chest so I don't get confused about why there's a random empty chest in a cave. If I ever come back in the cave. I might come back to the cave because of sulfur down here, but known source of sulfur. Here's the T4 here. So we'll check what that costs to build when we get back to base. I suppose I could land and check right now. Let's just land and check right now. So you're going from 1 iridium rod, silicon, titanium, and aluminum to 2 iridium rods, explosive power, and 3 super alloys. Okay, so let's obviously figure out how to square inventory a little bit more. Actually, keep the Tesca seed because I think I'm going to make a seed flower spreader. It's a super arrow, super alloy, fertilizer, bunch of water. Yeah. Didn't have enough power. Yeah, it's probably easiest to make another reactor. Explosive powder. Good thing it doesn't require power to actually operate the base, to operate certain things. Just need to run this. Have the resources to make our 4th T2 power. There we go, power back online. And then I need explosive powder for that, which is mostly iridium and sulfur. So yeah, I might actually go back out for that sulfur. We'll see in a moment. And you are a outside building, hopefully. Yes, so this is finally outside heat. And hopefully that's worth more than 2 tier 3 heaters. Yeah, it's almost 20 times more. For like 3 or 4 times the power. Of course it drops the rod, which is one of the things I'll be needing to build the replacement. Oh, I'm short in super alloy. Of course I'm short in super alloy. I can't eat the aluminum. As much as I may try. I was wondering why the right mouse button was not working, and then I realized, wait, no, that's aluminum. Right-clicking the aluminum. Okay, so that's 2 of those. I'll check the power grid to figure out how many of them, the tier 3s I still have. The answer is none. So we upgraded all the tier 3s to tier 4. We do still technically have a couple of the tier... Oh no, I still have 2 tier 3s. I think I should probably take the time to upgrade those. Effectively merge them into one, right? That's basically what that would be. Cobalt and magnesium, okay. See if we can find 2 iron and 4 magnesium. Iron is actually likely to be the hard one out of those to find. Magnesium is pretty easy to spot at distance. Iron sometimes can be a little bit easy to confuse with silicon. There we go. That's actually what I was looking for. Yeah. Okay, back to base, we'll make a couple super alloy, and then we'll go hunt down our remaining 2 tier 2s, turn into a tier 4. Or 2 tier 3s to turn into tier 4. Oh, and I need another explosive powder. Which means I'm going to need more sulfur. I know where I'm going to get sulfur. I should get some water first, so we don't die of dehydration retrieving the sulfur. So I can either hunt around in this biome for the sulfur, or we can go back to the cave that we know has some fairly easy to find sulfur, and I'm just going to go to the latter choice. We'll come back here if we need more sulfur, and once we've got all this stuff out of the cave. Twitch chat saying, hello, hello. Can't stick around long, but want to see how you're finding Planetcraft. It looks like you're at the Moss stage. What blueprints I'm heading towards? So right now we're in the middle of building the... Well, effectively upgrading from Tier 3 heater to Tier 4 heater. I can check what other blueprints might be in the way of about to unlock once we get back to base. That should be enough sulfur. Sorry for being a bit slow at responding to the Twitch chat. As you can imagine, the Twitch chat's actually a bit on the slow side most days, so often when I glance over, not actually seeing any chats, which is the reason I'm not always the best at remembering to look over there and see the chats. Yeah, that's, I think, enough sulfur. On the way back, I can probably describe the ones we just finished. So we just unlocked the Tier 4 heating, we just unlocked the Tier 4 drill, and unlocked the gas extractor. So those are what we just recently unlocked, so if you know what's next in the tech tree for those three types, you would know what's next. I'll be back at base shortly, and then I can look at the list. You have your channel set to make a chime sound if there's a chat message after 5+ minutes of activity to get my attention. That would actually be a reasonable thing to do, yeah. Don't necessarily know how to do that. Okay, so this is where we are in Blueprints. So we've built the biomass screen. I can go look at that. Next is orbital information, coming at 550 MTI. I gotta go hunt down the last two Tier 3 heaters to upgrade to the Tier 4. Next will be the Tier 2 tree spreader. Haven't unlocked the Tier 1 tree spreader yet. Bit interesting, but probably... Well, I say we're going to probably unlock. We might not. 6 parts per million is a lot more than 60 parts per billion. That feature was available through stream elements. Okay. I'll have to remember that when we get to the end of the stream. I might take a quick Google, see if I can find that. And then we've got Tier 4 drills out. The next would be the nuclear fusion generator on that tier, on that line. We built the gas extractor. We're coming up pretty quickly on Tier 2 ore extractors. I probably will take the time to build those when we unlock them. We've been building quite a few Tier 2 flower spreaders. Just 2 more orders of magnitude to get that tree spreader. Yeah. We're going like, oh, we're so close to Tier 2 tree spreader. I'm surprised we don't have the Tier 1. And then I look at the difference. It's like, oh, I see why we're not going to get the Tier 2 until then. Yeah, here's the Tier 1. The Tier 1's at 45 tons of biomass. So yeah, we'll probably get to that before we get to that. But we got the food grower and the tree spreader coming up there. And then we haven't had enough plants to get the beehive, which is the first in plants. But that's 80 tons, right? So probably do that. Yeah, probably that, and that. Tier 5 heater's going way off. Okay, so with what we just went and looted, I can make the explosive powder. Put the extra sulfur away. And then I think I know where my tier 3 heaters are. I think they're up in the base up there. Yeah, the poor submerged starting pod. The poor submerged starting base I've gotten around to actually disassembling, so it's not down there anymore, but the starting pod's still down there. Here we go. So now we got 3 of those. Take a swim down to the old starting pod. And here's the starting pod. Obviously, the craft... Oh, the crafter actually still works down here, apparently. If you somehow get broken and you need to come back down to the tier 1 starter, it allows you to come down here. And the container still works. But yeah, this has been flooded for a while. And then I think our original base, temporary base, was right up in here. So we'd long since moved out by the time it flooded up this high, but you're told it's a rite of passage for every new player in this game to have their starting base get flooded. Yeah. If you haven't been spoiled on the fact that the starting area floods, it is a rite of passage. This is my first run in this game, but it's sadly not my first time watching a playthrough of the run. So I've watched 2 playthroughs before, so I knew the starting base was going to flood, so I was not very attached to my starting base. And I'd basically moved out by the time it flooded. Granted, I moved out because it was on top of that hill, right? So this base, which was exactly what I moved into, when I started this base, was like 4 times bigger than the old base. What to work on next? Might make sense to launch some rockets. Let's go take a look at the rocket costs. Some food, keep your character healthy. In my first run, some jerk in chat spoiled it as I was starting up the game. No, you're kidding. Posted it before the loading screen was finished, despite the fact that I had said no spoiler tags in the stream. I was not pleased. Yeah, I can imagine if you didn't want to be spoiled, but that would not be an appreciative spoiler. But yeah, before I bought the game, I had already spoiled myself on the early game spoils, so wasn't it surprising to me. A number of people in chat were upset with them too. Yeah. Can I pin multiple things? No, I can pin one thing at a time. Might make sense to do asteroid attraction rocket plant. Could probably do another plant. Yeah, let's do another plant. Because we only got one of those up. No, I'll need some bark for that. Bark. Moved the Lerma seeds upstairs, didn't I? Yeah, all the Lerma seeds are upstairs. Do I have 2 more Super Ally? That's a good question. Oh, I'm gonna have to make more Super Ally. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make more Super Ally. So I got 4 aluminum, 3 silicon, 4 titanium, so I'm missing the magnesium, cobalt. Well, we can grab the cobalt out of here. Magnesium and... Okay, so now we're just looking for iron, which you'd imagine would be fairly common on the surface of the planet. There we go. Should be enough to make some Super Ally. Not long ago, I did a silly run or challenge run where I built up only heat, no oxygen, air pressure, or biomass. I expected to be a short game, and somehow I accidentally didn't die and eventually won. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Don't exactly remember how you trigger the victory conditions in this game. I assume it's based off of terraforming level, terraforming index, if that's the case that you were able to win with only heat. Three algae and a sulfur. I need to pull algae out of the... Well, I need to pull a couple of these algae out of the brink. And then we had another one in here, so that's my third. There's the sulfur. There we go, that's all we need for the rockets. Let's get the plant rocket launched. And this is the second plant rocket. So it's not going to be such a big swing on the plants as the first one was. Only about double the plant output. Trisha said, I never would have guessed it would be possible to win without food growers when I managed it with liberal use of the recycler, breaking down into edible components. Interesting. Circuit boards became an important source of food since they break down to bioplastic nuggets which break down into edible mushrooms. And that sounds like a potentially interesting challenge run. The world is green because we're just sent to the plant rocket. For anyone watching later on YouTube. Because of all the green pollen coming down. I need to go grab more silicon if I want to do that. Make another bioplastic nugget. When you reach the insect stage, rare lava breaks down into fertilizer, which breaks down to squash and eggplants. And then you had unlimited food. Unlimited insect-derived food, yes. Almost like you have an insect farm from sci-fi. Oh, still quite a way off on biomass for the food grower. 2, and actually really looking for the tree spreader, I suppose. Oh, so there's my plant biomass effect. We're about halfway there. Yeah, super alloy rod. We've already unlocked one blueprint that requires a super alloy rod. Tushat's asking, sort of regretted taking on the challenge though, because it took so long to get there with only tier 1 heaters, because all the other were locked behind the oxygen tree. Yeah. I think all of them were locked behind the oxygen tree until you get to biomass stage, 8.3 kilotons. But if you weren't making oxygen, you probably weren't making biomass either, so I can imagine how difficult that would be. About 31% to flora. One, two, three, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, it says I want more plants. That's more tier 2 flower spreaders for the moment. Although I need to get more super alloy for that. Let's go hit up the aluminum mine. Twitch chat saying, it's just funny because I started the challenge thinking it would be lucky to get to blue sky. I never imagined I'd win. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, let's take everything. Reset that chest. I don't think I got anything stored in here for the moment. No. We have that in case I'm coming over for aluminum and not anything else, so I can dump the other stuff. Although apparently I'm coming over more often for the other stuff. Oh, I should have been rocket while I'm thinking about it. I'll probably launch one of those two next. I'm gonna do another rocket. Actually, what am I missing? Super alloy? The answer to what I'm missing is I'm not. a bunch of aluminum. Yeah, probably just put the aluminum away from that. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed the stream, and hope you have a good night. If you want to catch any of the other parts, I am recording this locally for upload to YouTube. So same as the username on Twitch is roughly the username on YouTube, except I have 100 at the end. So it's YouTube. It's WillCole100 on YouTube. If you want to see any of the earlier parts, or later on any of the later parts, I suppose. On that note, what was in the middle of doing? It's in making a plant sprayer. Yes, need more water bottle for that. What's easy to do is step outside, grab water out of the rain collector. Yeah, feel free when you got free time to see any of the other stuff on the channel. This isn't the only thing I'm recording. It's just the thing I'm recording tonight. So there'll be other things up on the YouTube channel as well. But yeah, hope you have a good night. What Tesca seeds upstairs? Tesca seeds might be upstairs. No, they're down here. There we go. Let's drink some water. Eat some beans. Put another flower spreader of Tesca seeds. And yeah, don't have any more fertilizer for the moment. Wait for the squash to recover. So I suppose I should go exploring. Anyway, I suppose we can look at the map, decide which way we're going to explore. Instead of just blindly picking a direction. Oh, for whatever reason, the ring isn't showing up on the map. That zoom level isn't showing up. It shows with this level. Okay. Oh, that's the, that's my little, how to describe it, that's the uranium box. Go over to the volcanic and recover some obsidian. You know, I'm gonna take another double check to make sure I didn't miss anything in the, circle ship. Oh, I'm looking at the time. That's probably what I should stop on. So let's go explore the explore that ship again. Make sure we've got everything from there. I think we did get everything from there. We can double check. Although if I remember correctly, I think there's a secret wall down there. So I don't think I breached the secret wall, which implies there is still more down there. None of the explosives to go through there yet. to refresh our oxygen before we go in. And yeah, we didn't pull everything from here, but I don't think there's anything that's a rush to pull back. Although some of that could probably be pulled back to be turned into super alloy. Doesn't breathe through that door. Oh, and there's asteroids coming down. It's a pretty aggressive barrage of asteroids. Let's get back up to the surface. Pretty aggressive barrage of asteroids. Still coming down, actually. What type of asteroids are these? Ooh. Oh. Take cover! Okay, it stopped. I'm low on food, but we're alive. Super alloy ones. Okay, so we just got... The game decided I needed super alloy, is what the game just decided. See how many of these we can recover. It was a pretty aggressive bombardment. This place is going to be literally overflowing with super alloy. I need to get the oxygen refilled. Yeah, wasn't giving me enough to leave some food here. Well, left food seeds. Warnings about low food level. I think I got more than enough to get back to town, so I'm not gonna rush right back. Don't wanna miss the opportunity to acquire this much super alloy. Although I might have picked up what has despawned already. Give it a little bit more of a look, and then we'll head back to town. Head back to base to our character. But yeah, if you're wondering why occasionally when there's asteroid impacts, I'll go out and check in the middle of the asteroid storm. That's why, because depending upon the asteroid strikes, they can be carrying somewhat valuable contents. Yeah, I think that's everything that fell. well, everything that fell that still hasn't despawned yet. Not seeing anything around. Super Alley would be. Oh, you're silicon? Yeah. Okay, let's get back to base before our character starves to death. Yeah, I think that was a pretty, well, it was a random event that provided as much as Super Alley, but that was a pretty good haul for random Super Alley. Yeah, hold on to some of that. I think this is where we'll go ahead. Oh, I had space food on me the entire time. Never mind. I didn't need to come back. Although I don't think we were going to make another dive with that much Super Alley in the inventory. Because really that was a big hunk of what we were looking for. So with that Super Alloy, next time I can put down more plant spreaders to try to speed up oxygen generation. Not that we're planning the tier 2 tree spreader anytime soon. That'll help with the orbital, getting to orbital information and seed spreader. And then obviously more biomass is going to help us get to the tier 2 food grower and the tree spreader and the beehive real quickly. And the beehive, I think, is the first type of insect we're going to get, so we can start working up the insect line as well. So yeah, this is, I think, where we're going to put the part break in. We'll go over the current stats, so you can see our oxygen production up there, just short of 15,000 parts per quadrillion. The heat, we're up to just short of 35 picokelvin, or 35,000 picokelvin. Pressure, we're just, well, just over 32,000 nanokelvin. In theory, I'm an engineer and should be able to do those conversions, but mental math to convert up, oh, I suppose that one's a little bit easy. That one is millipascals. So we're going from nano to milli. And then biomass, we're in just short of 34 tons produced, and we're making just short of 10 kilograms a second as far as the terraforming index. And this is the state of the plant, so you can see the plant by itself. We obviously don't have any insects or animals yet to look at. And then here's the power grid. We're currently oversupplying power, although not by as much as I would have imagined. We might have to go sort out some more uranium to make another reactor, so we can keep the power positive. And or I'll have to start putting up a whole lot of tier 2 solar. And yeah, we've got up to tier 2 GPS satellite. So we've been poking around exploring different places. We have explored this a bit, or we've explored that ship, this ship, that ship. Can't see it on the map, but there's a ship up here. We've been in the ring ship. We've been in the aluminum biome. We've been, I think this is the pulsar biome. We're in the pulsar biome. We've been up into the uranium cave. And then obviously we've been into the iridium and the... what was that? Oh, I'm afraid of the name of the blue one. Been in the blue cave, been in the sulfur biome. At some point, we'll have to go exploring over here and over here. I think in the distance, we've been able to see that that area has melted enough that there's actual active waterfalls. And at some point, we'll go explore that area. That area, for whatever reason, was making the game really laggy. Just looking at it, we were up here looking down at it, and that was lagging the game for whatever reason. Yep, that's the state of the game. So if you're watching on YouTube, there probably will be a part up for you tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, let me go over the upcoming schedule in case you want to know what's coming up over the next couple days. So today was Planet Crafter. Tomorrow we're going to be doing Terra Invicta, trying to really get back at those orbits. We got Earth, I think, reasonably secured, but it's trying to get into Mars and Mercury and stay in Mars and Mercury. That's been a challenge. The aliens have been nice enough not to blow us off of Mercury yet, which has been what's kind of enabling that the repeated attempts. So yeah, today was Planet Crafter, tomorrow will be Terra Invicta. Thursday is going to be Darkest Dungeon. Hopefully get some more champion bosses done. We've done the first 2. So done 2 of 8 of them, so there's 6 more to go do. Friday will be the Songs of Six. It's time to start a new city. I've looked up how to do a resettle, but if we do a resettle in Songs of Six using the old city, we're going to be the same species again, the same race. I think it's time to change races as well. So we're going to be starting up a new city on a effectively brand new save on Friday. And then Saturday, so 4 days from today, we will be back to Planet Crafter, following the usual trend of 4 games, 4 nights, 4 parts, where we cycle through 4 games until we beat them, effectively. So obviously we haven't won here, and yeah, so that's the upcoming schedule. If you're watching YouTube, by the time you're hearing this on YouTube, all 4 of those parts should have been recorded, or all 4 of those streams should have been recorded. If you can't wait for them to be uploaded to YouTube, you can sneak over to Twitch. Twitch VODs do stay up for 14 days after they are recorded. So if you want to watch them before they're posted to YouTube, feel free to do that. They are being recorded locally in addition to being streamed live. The local recording should allow me to upload them in 1080p at 60 frames per second. Even when the game was lagging, I think the recording was still going at 60 frames per second. So what you're seeing is what I'm seeing, effectively. But yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see it in 60 frames per second, 1080p. If you're watching this on Twitch, obviously, because of the reality of streaming, the video quality might always be at 1080p. I have it set to throttle the video quality rather than the frames, so it should be uploading at 60 frames per second to Twitch. But you're watching later and you want to watch or if you're watching this on Twitch and you want to later watch in higher quality, you can hop over to YouTube and effectively get the 1080p equivalent of the local recording. I think I'm technically running the game in 4K. To get it uploaded to YouTube, I'm pressing it to 1080p, because I think YouTube only streams 1080p, or... Yeah, I think YouTube only streams 1080p, anyway. So yeah, that's the state of the recording schedule and the game. So I hope you've all enjoyed. If you want to comment responded to while you're watching live on Twitch, now is probably the last opportunity to get them responded to. If you're watching later on the Twitch VOD or on the YouTube video, feel free to leave comments. Although if you're watching on Twitch, you may want to swap over to the YouTube channel to leave them over there. I don't know how Twitch handles asynchronous commenting. But yeah, with that, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and or stream, and bye for now.